I guess when you're a celebrity or if you're a person of public interest, you gotta be super careful. Name anybody can do anything. It's just like, I'm not normal no more. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. They trying to him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him with Jaden and Justin present that tape. Katt Williams just reopened a story Hollywood tried to bury, and it explains how a rising star went from the top of Empire to completely disappearing. If you remember Bryce or Gray, the breakout actor from Empire, you probably wondered how someone with that much momentum lost everything so fast. According to Katt Williams and things others said long before him, this wasn't a random downfall. I want to love you because everybody else loved you. I said, if that's what you want to do, then do it. But he kept acting up. And then one day I said, what the F is wrong with you? And he was like, he said, Will me, Diddy made me suck his penis. You know what's going on. Charlie made me suck. And I said, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. So he crying, no blood is coming from his nose. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I'm like, yo, I listen. Tonight we're breaking down how Bryshere's career exploded, who stepped in to mentor him, and why people now believe those connections were the beginning of the end. Starting with Will Smith, then did he? Let's start where it all went right. Bryshere didn't come from money or connections. He was discovered by a talent manager named Charlie Mack, who believed in him enough to pull strings and get him an audition for Empire. Bryshere didn't just audition well, he owned it. He landed the role of Hockey Lion, and overnight his life changed. Who's your favorite? Black Thought. I'm just saying in general. Black Thought. Okay. Red Run. Okay. And Erykah Badu. The show became a massive hit. Bryshere became a household name. And for a moment, it looked like Hollywood had found its next big star. That's when the mentorship started. Charlie Mack introduced Bryshere to Will Smith, someone seen as a gatekeeper in the industry. The idea was simple. Guide him, protect him, help him transition from TV star into a full Hollywood powerhouse. But according to people speaking now, that's not what happened. Instead of things moving forward, Bryce's career started stalling. And shortly after entering Will Smith's circle, he was also introduced to Diddy because Bryce wanted to pursue music alongside acting. At the time, nobody questioned it. Today, people are looking back and asking why. Because after those connections were made, Bryce's rise didn't continue. It collapsed. Do you feel like what you're saying reaches the ears of Will Smith and he needs to get, at least if there's smoke, there's fire? Let me grab a fan. Number one, as far as Will Smith is concerned, until he does right by all of those children that were harmed and corrupted while in his care. Children that grew up to be men, boys like Bryshere Gray, August Alsina, your own son, like your own son. What made this explode again is Katt Williams' recent interview where he talked openly about powerful men in the industry damaging young talent behind closed doors. While Katt didn't name Bryshere directly, listeners immediately connected the dots, especially because Jaguar Wright had been warning about this exact situation more than a year earlier. Question, what happens in the entertainment industry that makes someone go into just being very close with, men contact? It's interesting, I'll say the least. You want to know the thing that bothers me most about Bryshere Gray? I actually think he's doing all of this so they'll take him back in the club. And they're not. They're going to keep gaslighting you and playing with you, promising you one thing or another. Not now. Not now. Just next year is going to be your time. You need to get yourself out there. You need to. She claimed Bryshere was one of several young men who left Will Smith's home in distress. And she questioned what these so-called mentorships really involved. They're both bisexual. They do weird things in their house. And young men have left their house, screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mill's, Bryshere Gray left that house. Screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He need a dog. Hey man. And that was they kid friend. Yeah. Who the can believe that my gas is real by any means with all of that? Makes it tough to believe. With all of that when they was busy fights you, partying with the Martins. At the time, many people dismissed her. Now, after Katt Williams spoke, people are rethinking everything. Jaguar Wright didn't speak calmly about Bryshere. She spoke angrily, emotionally, like someone who believed a line had been crossed long ago and never repaired. According to Jaguar, she tried to intervene when Bryshere was younger. She claims she warned people close to him to get him away from certain managers and situations before real damage was done. But she says those warnings were ignored. He trying to him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin, present that tape exist. I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be a bad taste. Baby oil on babies. You can't say that the flavor camp was sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. You just come on. Come on. Starting to sound that way, ain't it? All that talent. And she let Charlie tune that boy up on coke, knowing that he was bipolar and had ADHD. What kind of mother tooth that had to son? Turn him into a prostitute so you can pretend to be something more than what you are, which is nothing more than a filly. You're a pike. You're a bigger than they're making your son out to be, that's for sure. 'Cause he didn't have no choice. He was down by all. I'm sorry. The Bryshere conversation for me is not easy because I came to Belay and I asked Belay to help me save the kids, and all he was worried about was his Bryshere book. Oh yeah. No, definitely. Don't care about these kids. Don't nobody care about these kids. Jaguar alleges that Bryce's mother played a role in pushing him deeper into industry spaces that were dangerous for him, all while presenting a public image of a struggling single parent who had raised a star on her own. That came to me and begged me for my help. I told her to get the referee away from Charlie. I did everything that I could to get Bryshere to help her get Bryshere out of California into Chicago safe to be ready for filming. She knew she knew what Will did to him. But because of Charlie C., and Charlie had promised her all kinds of things, and all she had to do was pretend to be a broken-down single mom who worked her way up through the ghetto and raised a superstar for television when the truth is, she wasn't nothing but a drug dealer's high. That's all she ever was. She went from drug dealer to drug dealer, and then she snitched on whoever she needed to snitch on till she could get to the bigger bag, until she got with Bryshere. Larry Lair, my friend who raised Bryshere in $1 million home. Your whole book is lies, Andy. And I hope anybody that bought it asks for a bike's refund and demands it comes out of your pocket every time they see your son's gay porn. In Jaguar's words, that image was a lie. She claims Bryshere was passed from handler to handler, promised opportunity after opportunity while his well-being was ignored. As Katt Williams and Jaguar Wright reignited questions about mentorship and power, another longtime insider added fuel to the fire. Gandil, a former bad boy associate who says there's much more the public hasn't seen yet. Apparently, Will Smith and Diddy are on tapes together, and that raises the stakes even higher. I heard that that's not only the tape that's being shot. It's some other tapes out there, other people too with him, and him doing some things with some other people. So it's quite a few tapes that might be out there, what they hearing. And I don't want to see the tapes, but I want to know if they really true, because if they got some cake tapes out there and this with some underage, whether it's celebrities or not, it's going to be crazy. Bro, it's going to be real crazy. And they're going to have to bring that to forefront because the prosecutor is going to want those tapes and they're going to do whatever they have to do legally to get those tapes. No ifs and buts about it. So we just better hope on for his sake that just a bunch of bullcrap. But then there's lawyers out there saying, yeah, the tape does exist. Lawyers got on television and said the tapes exist. I don't really know or trust that because they was trying to say he had a tape with one of the bodyguards and this lady that came out. So we don't know what to think until we actually see that the story doesn't stop with rumors. This is where Brother Bal enters the picture, and where things shift from internet talk to something far more serious. According to Bilal, what he witnessed on set involving Bryshere wasn't normal behavior. Empire. It's a damn mess. It's no other way to put it. This dude is going crazy, right? He's out there allegedly with male prostitutes. He's pissing in the trailer. He's acting psychotic, right? The same thing he's doing now. Beyond that. But this is why a show is going on, right? So I'm like, So I pulled him to the side, right? And I said, listen, I'm here to help you. And so forth and so on. So he was like, all right, I feel that. He said, everybody on the set know you. That's when Bryce allegedly made claims that changed everything. Bal says Bryshere broke down emotionally and accused Will Smith and Diddy of serious wrongdoing. No idea. So, he crying. No blood is coming from his nose. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I'm like, yo, I listen. So I grabbed my husband. I said, listen, I don't know. I didn't know what happened. Nothing. I was just asked to come true. Yeah. No, I'm let you. You about to see if it's true from the paperwork. Huh? We telling something that got paperwork involved. Let me get to the paperwork. So, at this point, I'm crying because I feel his pain. Like I could kind of tell when somebody phony and all, but it was the pain where the snot was coming out his nose. His nose was bleeding. He in the corner screaming, balled up, right? Like I could feel his pain like he had been raped. Like he had been forced to do something. You understand what I'm saying? So I said, well, listen, let me find out what's going on. He said, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Right? So I'm like, yes. I'm like, yo, let's just relax. I said, everything gonna be okay, you know? And he was like, no, they going to get me if I say something. They going to get me if he's spazzing, right? So he calmed down after a couple days. I reached out to Charlie Mack, who was managing the ball. So, Charlie was managing Yas. Oh, so Charlie is the one that brought Yas to Will now. Okay. So let me stay within the story. So I reached out to Charlie. I said, listen. I said, Yaz is going crazy. He's saying that Will raped him. And he said that he made him suck his penis, right? So he was like, but yeah. Oh yeah, he was like, you think he'll talk about it? You think Gaz will talk about it? I don't. As I finish the story, you judge, right? Right? Okay. So all this is speculation right now. Ain't no paperwork involved, right? Okay. So now Charlie flies down there, boom, boom, and he tells me, listen, man, I had a talk with Yaz, whatever the case may be. Everything is cool or whatever. Right? So about a week later, he spazzes out again, right? I knew you knew. I knew you was going to say something, right? I'm like, how can I not say something? You said you were raped and you said Diddy made you suck his penis. This is what you told. I said, dude, this is criminal, right? Soon after, lawyers got involved. This is where the story turns legal. Bilal says Will Smith and Charlie Mack allegedly helped arrange legal representation for Bryshere. At the same time, Bilal claims he was being pressured to stay quiet and let it go. So they was telling me look, B, let this thing go. So I'm not letting nothing go, and this is to Will and Charlie allegedly telling them that I need an NDA from this dude because this dude, whatever it got me involved in is something dangerous and filthy and diabolical. So they was like, well, we can't do that, so we'll pay you to sign an NDA with him. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want your filthy money. I want this guy to stop saying that I know that you and Diddy did something to him. Allegedly. So then they came back. My lawyer said, listen, this is the best that I think could happen. That will protect you. There they will allow a mutual NDA where Bryshere won't say anything about you, nor can you say anything about Bryshere. But you're talking now, right? Oh, let me finish. Oh, allegedly. So we do this. So we do the paperwork. It's legal paperwork, which you got in here. So there's a mutual NDA between Bryshere Gray and myself, right? That right? That happened. So now I'm leaving. I'm out of Chicago. I'm off the set and everything. So Bryshere starts telling people again that I know. So he breaks the NDA. The NDA has already broken. So now, okay, now that I could prove that he broke the NDA, I can talk about it now. So before I leave, I'm going to leave you a copy of the mutual NDA between Bryshere Gray and I. Now that means that something happened. Why was there a mutual? You never hear people doing mutual NDAs. It's one-sided. You are not allowed to say anything, right? So now when people want to read between the lines, when he said all this and so forth and so on, once Bryshere allegedly continued telling people that Bilal knew everything, Bilal claims the NDA was violated, freeing him to speak, and that's why this interview exists. From there, Bilal claims this wasn't just about one incident or one person. He alleges that Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith lived a private life that looks nothing like their public image involving other industry figures like Tyrese Gibson and Mac. Will and Jada, you know about this, the sexual things they were doing allegedly to certain people and all that. And I told you that Jada was addicted to. So how Jada would watch at the house is she had her laptop. She would stick her hard drive in, right? Boom. And hook it up to the TV, and she could play whatever video she's watching. So I'm seeing videos of her and Will and a bunch of others, some celebrities, everything. Because remember, the last interview I told you, if you don't sue me, I'm going to let people know who you've been hitting with them dildos. I don't know if you remember that, but I remember your woes going, remember it. And I said, if you don't sue, I'm going to sue. So I told you, being Muslim, whatever I say I'm going to do, that's what I'm going to do. Period. And I got to have evidence. So we not playing whatever? That's why they didn't sue. Okay. Somebody stole 2 hard drives from Jada's house with this alleged on it. Right. Jada thought. So now we getting into why she's even more mad. So Jada thought I have something to do with this being stolen, right? And one thing that they allegedly did was report it stolen. So whoever comes out with this video or tape or anything have stolen property, they're going to jail, right? Okay. Now that's why me and Jada's relationship got to be so toxic towards the end, because she thought I stole these videos. So they're her with other people, but I saw some of the video, mind you, when Jada at the house. Was any of them allegedly MC Light? Yes. Now both Diddy and Will Smith are in legal trouble, with Will, the more recent of the two, to find himself in extremely hot water. Now the plaintiff, or the person who filed the lawsuit, is this man whose name is Brian King Joseph, and he's a violinist and a former contestant on America's Got Talent. What is your name? My name is Brian King Joseph. I'm from Los Angeles and I play violin. This is the basis of what this lawsuit is all about. So the crew arrives to Las Vegas for their tour stop. And the way the hotel bookings would work, according to the lawsuit, is that Will Smith, which I'm assuming really means his team, would book everybody's hotel rooms and then send out a spreadsheet to the cast and crew that listed each person's room number and confirmation code. And this is key to Joseph because he highlights that the only people who had access to his room information would have been the hotel staff and the crew for this tour. So again, everybody's in Vegas, and it comes time for rehearsals. Joseph and the crew get dropped off at the venue around 11:00 a.m., and Joseph says he left his bag, which also had his room key in it, in the van that they all came in. Now, by 3:00 p.m. on the same day, Brian King Joseph says that he asked management to get his bag from the van, but management tells him that they can't find it. About 2 hours later, management finds the bag with the key in it, and they return it to Brian King Joseph. Now, around 11:00 p.m. on March 20th, 2025, Brian King Joseph says that he goes to the room that he had been assigned and discovered, quote, evidence suggesting that an unknown person had unlawfully entered the room. And some of that evidence included a handwritten note that said, quote, Brian, I'll be back later. 5:30, just us. There's a heart and it's signed Stone F. There was also, according to the lawsuit, some wipes, a beer bottle, a red backpack, a bottle of HIV medication with another person's name on it, an earring, and hospital discharge paperwork belonging to a person that Brian King Joseph didn't know. So, the suit says that Brian, who was now concerned for his safety and the safety of his fellow performers and crew, notifies everyone about what happened and requests a room change. He also calls the local non-emergency line and files an incident report with hotel security. So this is all on March 20th, and the lawsuit says, the next day, Brian goes back to Los Angeles, and when he tries to show up at a recording for a pre-recorded show, he's told by a member of Will Smith's team that he was too late and that they would just see him in New Mexico for the next leg of the tour. However, the lawsuit says, a few days after that, a man named Tim Miller, who worked on Will Smith's team, blames Joseph for the hotel incident and tells him, quote, I don't know. You tell me because everyone is telling me that what happened to you is a lie. Nothing happened and you made the whole thing up. So, tell me, why did you lie and make this up? According to the lawsuit, Joseph alleges he was later shamed by members of Smith's team and ultimately removed from the tour with the implication that he made the incident up. He claims the termination caused emotional distress and financial harm. Will Smith's attorney has categorically denied the allegations, calling them false and reckless, and has stated that all legal options will be used to challenge the claims. What Orlando Brown suggests is that this lawsuit doesn't exist in isolation. When you say these names on the interview, do people call you after the interview be like, "Bro, did you just say that?" I had a guy walk up to me in the parking lot of, actually Target Celebrities Target, and he asked, "No, celebrities. No, 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 no. Celebrities they're not celebrities. They can't call themselves celebrities." They gave that up. He brings up Bilal, the former close associate of Will Smith, and claims that after Bilal went public with his allegations, there were behind-the-scenes efforts to stop him from talking. Orlando alleges that money was discussed, specifically a large payment meant to keep Bilal quiet and prevent further interviews. Not Jazzy Jeff, but the goddamn his other best friend, the other name with the Will name. I'm just saying he came out and spoke a truth that he said he saw with Will Smith. That's his truth. That's his friend. His buddy. His buddy. Oh, the guy with the guy. With the guy. Talking about the guy. Yeah. The guy with the guy walking saw something in the room. You know, the guy with the guy? Okay. We were supposed to pay him we were supposed to give him 1.5 to not do that interview or something. And then he's like, "Nigga, am I married to you or not?" Well, it was like, "Am I married to you, nigga?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "All right. Everybody knows I'm married to Will Smith. I just divorced Will Smith. Everybody knows that." He dismisses the notion that fame equals freedom, saying most big names are locked into systems where they answer to studios, contracts, and public image managers. Even major stars, he argues, don't really control their own narratives. The Rock is not a celebrity. Dwayne Johnson. Who? Satan. That's my friend. He's fine. He's the one bagging all the car skin. I guess everybody you see all of a sudden, they have a big broad shoulder and a call belly. And it's all the same person on Netflix as the star in every movie. It just, dude, nobody wants to watch that. Cheered no more. It's like, dude, can we get a chance? Everybody, can we all get a chance? Can we get a break? Can somebody be the first person to be like, with this over here? Where's Adam Sandler? Where is... Well, Jig is here, but where, you know what I'm saying? It's certain things that I have a problem with. To Orlando, that's symbolic. He says Hollywood isn't about truth. It's about survival. And when people like Bilal or Joseph disrupt the script, the response isn't always public outrage. Sometimes it's quiet pressure, legal threats, or money offered behind closed doors. In Orlando Brown's eyes, the most important question isn't whether every allegation is true. It's why so many people are told to stop talking. Do you think Will Smith is next up after Diddy?